Coming up, 2 young people are dead after separate incidents in eastern Kentucky.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin with several developing stories tonight. First to Knott County, where a Knott County Central High School student is dead following an ATV crash. Kentucky State Police say the crash happened in the Beaver community that's near the Knott-Floyd County line. School officials confirmed with WYMT that grief counselors will be at the high school tomorrow. Again, that's Knott Central High School. The name of the student has not been released. Another developing story tonight in Laurel County. A 12-year-old child was shot this afternoon. Police were called to a home about 3 miles south of London. Officials with the sheriff's office say it happened in a bedroom and the boy was shot in the stomach. The circumstances are still unclear. The boy was taken to St. Joseph, London, where he died. The body is being taken to Frankfort for an autopsy. And also breaking in Laurel County tonight, the sheriff's office says it is investigating a report of a person hit by a train. They say it was reported within the last hour. This is happening off Bullock and Slate Lick Road, northeast of London. So far, we do not know that person's condition. Again, just a report of a person hit by a train. We're working to learn more, and we'll bring you updates on all these developing stories as we learn more on WYMT.com. The Wolfe County Rescue Squad has been busy this summer. Even so, the team is still focused on helping one eastern Kentucky family who's been missing a loved one since the flood. Vanessa Baker disappeared nearly 1 year ago in Breathitt County. Grayson Passmore talked with search and rescue crews about their renewed efforts to find her.
After completing their 53rd rescue mission, the Wolfe County Search and Rescue Team is on track to have another record year.
Any trip to the Red River Gorge begins before you even leave your house. It's important to prepare ahead of time.
Team member Drew Stevens says 2 hikers were carried out of the gorge with different injuries this weekend, and they anticipate an even busier fall season. As they average around 2 rescues a week, there's one mission in particular that's top of mind for this team. Even a year later.
With the flooding operations, we were literally moment one in Breathitt County, helping our neighbors there as mutual aid. So the initial call came in for the flooding. We were first on scene for that.
And they were back once again just this past weekend. 30 rescue members completed a team of 60 to search for Vanessa Baker. She was declared dead months after the flood, swept away from the Lost Creek community. Her body was never found, but the search isn't over.
Obviously, with the 1 year anniversary coming up, those memories come back fresh from those days. And obviously a very stressful time for our team members, but they were ready to step up to the challenge then, and they're ready to step into the challenge today.
Whether their work takes them back to Breathitt County or keeps them here in their own backyards.
It was a tragic event and a very intense event, but we were glad to be able to use our services to help save lives in eastern Kentucky during that.
At the Gorge, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
The team is completely made up of volunteers. They were asked to join in the search for Vanessa Baker this past weekend by the Kentucky Emergency Management Agency. Nearly 1 year after the deadly flood in eastern Kentucky, some are still working to get into their new homes. A Clay County woman who survived her home being swept off its foundation is among them. Anna Sams has lived in rental property since a week after the flood. She survived when floodwaters picked up her home and carried it 500 feet. It stopped thanks to 3 trees that before the flood she wanted gone.
I'd been trying my best to hire somebody to cut them trees down, couldn't get them cut down. But the Lord knows what they deserve for. I didn't.
She's still waiting on her new home to be finished, but tells us that's probably still about a month away. The Millstone Church of Grace in Letcher County was damaged by the July flood, and now nearly 1 year later, they are still searching for funding to keep rebuilding. WYMT's Madison Carmouche spoke with the pastor about some of the challenges that comes with flood recovery.
Millstone Church of Grace has been a light in the Millstone community since 1942. But after the flood in July, that became a little harder.
You know, it makes me emotional just to think about this church, you know, of where it used to be. The 57 flood didn't get in this church. The 77 flood didn't get in this church. But the 2022 flood was up to the windowsills in this church.
Members of the church have not had a service in the sanctuary since just before the flood.
It's been a trying time, but of course, you know, we've not let it deter us. We've stayed focused. We've stayed, you know, looking to the Lord, and we're waiting on the Lord to move, to give us some funding. And when that takes place, why, we'll do our very best, and Lord willing, to get this place back together to where we can get back in our sanctuary.
While they are still a long way from moving back in, progress has been made.
We are so appreciative of the groups that came in and helped us, and it was people in our community, and it was people all around the world, or at least in the nation. There was people from New York, there was people from Florida, there was people from Alabama, there was people from Iowa, there was people from California. I mean, they come from everywhere. And
that help has not stopped. Pastor Holbrook says he is thankful, and his main goal is to get back into the sanctuary.
You know, we still plan on being a light to the community. We have been, this church has been a light for the community since 1942.
In Letcher County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Holbrook says he appreciates all the volunteers and donations made during the past year.
A peaceful evening weather-wise all throughout the region. Still plenty of warmth and humidity out there, and even though it's warm and humid, we can still look up and enjoy some of Mother Nature's beauty. Here's a view of crepuscular rays. Our weather spotter Johnny Nicholson always does a fantastic job. He took this picture south of London. The sun's rays behind that cloud, absolutely stunning out there this evening. Always love to see those folks, those pictures sent in by folks just like you. If you want to, you can send those pictures in on our WYMT First Alert weather app, and you can go to WYMT.com and you can submit there as well. Still mild out there. 77 from Pikeville Medical Center. Most of us still in the low to mid 70s right now. Monticello still checking in at 80 at 11 o'clock. Most of our shower activity long gone, watching a couple of storms over parts of Illinois. Those should leave us alone. Your forecast first as we head through the nighttime hours. We should stay dry, but we'll stay mild with those temperatures in the upper 60s. It'll feel like the upper 60s. We wake up in the morning, we'll stay there as we quickly get into the 70s. Steve, I'll have the latest on when we see even hotter weather in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thanks. July 28th of last year is a day no one in eastern Kentucky wants to experience again. And while many folks have spent the last year rebuilding their lives, WYMT's Olivia Calfee spoke with officials at one fire department who are trying to ensure they are better prepared in case an event like that were to ever happen again.
In the early morning hours of July 28, 2022, Hazard Fire Department firefighter Jacob Smith says they began receiving calls of water entering homes and people trapped.
It started just hitting one after another. 4 was loaded up with radios, life jackets, throw bags, and some rope equipment, and we headed off the 28th that night.
The 4 were also Swift Water Technician certified and eventually made their way to Highway 550.
When we got to 550, it was total chaos. There was reports of people going down the river on trees. We was watching full houses float down the river in front of us. We estimated it was probably around 50 to 65 people that we rescued, and I think we recovered 5.
And while the hazard firefighters remain confident they are trained for every situation, Captain Jamie Ferris says that night they were limited with equipment.
There was 4 of us. You know, we had our gear, of course, our life jackets and stuff, and we had one single John boat.
Since then, the department has worked to ensure they are better prepared in the future.
After the flood, we're up to 15 certified technicians. Now we do have a inflatable rescue boat, 30 horsepower motor with it. We have our John boat. We received about $20,000 worth of equipment, such as, you know, the suits, the life jackets, the rope bags.
And firefighter Jared Smith says they are more equipped than ever and prepared to answer any call that comes their way.
We put a whole truck and trailer in service dedicated just to rescue. So right now I think that we are as good as equipped as we could ever get.
In Hazard, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
The Hazard Fire Department was one of 4 departments across the country to receive the Higgins and Langley Memorial Award in Swiftwater Rescue, which honors outstanding achievement in the technical discipline of swiftwater and flood rescue. Crime reduction data from the Kentucky State Police and touted by Governor Beshear exaggerated the state's reduction in homicides from 2021 to 2022. The Lexington Herald reports the data from the Louisville Metro Police Department had 100 more homicides than what KSP reported. Turns out the latest report on 2022 showed 64 homicides were reported instead of 164. The report said that homicides in Kentucky went down from 647 in 2021 to 431 last year. The actual 2022 total is 531. Police are still looking for a suspect after a Western Kentucky University student was shot and killed. 21-year-old Ayanna Morgan was shot at an apartment complex in Bowling Green. She later died at a Nashville hospital early Monday morning. Morgan was from Savannah, Georgia. Police have an active arrest warrant for the suspect, Malik Jones. Police say he should be considered armed and dangerous. A Wayne County, Kentucky man is facing felony charges of domestic abuse, strangulation, assault, and wanton endangerment. 19-year-old Maxwell Rush of Monticello was arrested after police received a call about an injured woman at a home on Kentucky 1275. Before police arrived, the woman had left the house. Police later found her at Wayne County Hospital, where she was being treated for multiple injuries related to an assault. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a former mine site is being turned into a renewable energy center. More on the planned billion-dollar investment.
And we continue to see the potential for hot weather later this week. The very latest next.
The nursing home made you an important promise. They promised to be a good home for your loved one and to provide